Warning: sensitive images.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visite suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Acara kami menyediakan banyak bahasa. Silakan lihat suprememastertv.com/schedule.
How is it possible that a compassionate spiritual or religious person could support an industry that is responsible for the unnecessary suffering of billions of people, trillions of land and sea animals, and the devastation of the very planet we live on?
In July 2020, along with presenting Thomas Wade Jackson the Shining World Compassion Award to recognize his noble work, Supreme Master Ching Hai also lovingly gifted him with a humble $10,000 as a small token of support for his promotion of veganism.
Please continue watching to find out more.
I've found that a person does not need protein from meat to be a successful athlete. Carl Lewis, vegan.
If you hear Haumehereth, that means hello in Bashkir, one of the official languages spoken in the Republic of Bashkortostan. Benevolent viewers, I am Alisher. The gentle people of Bashkortostan wish you an abundant and joyful life. Welcome to our show titled A Prayer for Compassion, Part 1 of 2. In this series, we are privileged to introduce an extraordinary vegan-focused documentary called A Prayer for Compassion, produced and directed by Mr. Thomas Wade Jackson, an award-winning American filmmaker, photographer, musician, and Shining World Compassion Award recipient. In July 2020, Supreme Master Ching Hai presented him with Shining World Compassion Award plus a humble gift of $10,000 to lovingly support his promotion of veganism. Supreme Master Ching Hai is deeply grateful to the beloved God for all the financial help, comfort, and support to the afflicted and needy, and or any good cause over the years, as a humble vessel for Here's compassion and love toward Here's precious children. This profound film asks us to examine our spiritual beliefs and then act upon them by expanding our compassion to all living beings. By drawing a line between our spirituality and what we eat, the film brings attention to the pain and suffering of the animals who are turned into meat that people consume. It also examines the connection between our faith and responsibility to be the stewards of our planet. Some real-life images included here may be disturbing to young children. Parental discretion is advised.
How can we expect ourselves to have lives of joy and freedom and spiritual clarity when we are sowing the seeds of the opposite of that?
It's almost like some mad scientist, like Satan himself, designed these systems that are being used now to raise animals. It is absolute insanity.
I don't get how you can love everything Jesus says and then participate in a mechanized system of mass slaughter that involves pain beyond your wildest imagination.
Even keeping quiet and silent about the violence you are part of that violence.
There's another passage in the Quran that says that because of the wrongs of humanity, there has been much corruption seen in the oceans and on land.
So for a few moments in which we're enjoying what is really just a palate preference, we're taking what is most essential to animals, their very lives. And that's the opposite of compassion, it seems to me.
We are ashamed of our ancestors who owned slaves. We are ashamed of our ancestors who believed in segregation. So too, our grandchildren will be ashamed of what we allowed to happen on our watch. Each of us has to ask ourselves a spiritual question. What side do I want to tell my grandchildren I was on? Was I on the side of mercy and compassion, or was I on the blind side that helped to perpetuate suffering?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This one is for you. Shine, let it shine, let it shine.
This is my daughter Melody. She's the reason I'm making this documentary. It's for her, and it's for all the children who will inherit whatever world we choose to leave them.
After learning about the devastating consequences that livestock raising has on the planet, Thomas Wade Jackson knew he had to take action. In search of answers, he prayed and meditated.
During that meditation, this question popped into my mind. How is it possible that a compassionate spiritual or religious person could support an industry that is responsible for the unnecessary suffering of billions of people, trillions of land and sea animals, and the devastation of the very planet we live on? That question would end up taking me on a journey throughout the United States and around the globe to explore the teachings of kindness and compassion that form the basis of all the world's main religions, and the not-so-main ones as well, and try to understand how so many people of faith are doing unto others that which they would never wish done unto themselves.
During his travels, Thomas speaks to people who are trying to heal the planet, save the animals, and better public health through spreading ideals regarding a compassionate life and diet.
Compassion is at the core of our being. That's who we really are. This is the reason why, collectively, compassion is going to win.
Well, concern for animals has long been a part of Unitarianism and Universalism. Jeremy Bentham was a Unitarian legal scholar who, in the 1860s, said that the morally relevant question about animals was not whether they could reason or whether they could talk, but whether they could suffer. And it's so clear now with today's science, as it was clear then to anyone with common sense, that animals do suffer greatly, especially those in our food system, as it's been practiced in the past 50 years.
I think if some of our great chiefs were alive today, they would be horrified and they would be incredibly heartbroken because they themselves would never do what we're doing today. If they didn't have to hunt, if they didn't have to kill, I don't believe there's any way they would have ever done that.
Now it is proven beyond doubt that if you want to get rid of the greenhouse gases, get rid of the slaughterhouses. It's a ticking bomb.
First thing you can do, and the most important thing to do in saving this world and to living in the heavenly will of God starts on your dinner plate.
There's a whole slew of verses in the Bible that command that we treat animals with such sensitivity. Collectively, these are known in Hebrew as Tsar Ba'alei Chaim, which translates to the prevention of suffering to animals. And it says in our Talmud, which is the main rabbinic commentary on the Bible, that not only are we to prevent animal suffering, we are to relieve the suffering of animals whenever we have occasion to do so. Therefore, we are to exercise dominion the way that God exercises dominion over human beings. And any rabbi will tell you The primary attributes of God's dominion are mercy and compassion.
Only because of the taste buds, only because of our own greed, only because of our own satisfaction of the senses. When are we going to become sensitive? When are we going to understand? Because each and every living being is given a different instrument, and it's a symphony, and we are creating a music out of that instrument, and we forget that each and every one's life is intertwined with each other. How can we disturb one living being? So, be a whisper or be a scream. Just be the voice for the voiceless being.
In the Muslim faith, we have this really beautiful saying from the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, in which he says that none of you truly have attained to faith until you love for one another what you love for your own self. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he said that on the day of resurrection, when people will have to answer for their deeds before God, one will even have to answer for the innocent sparrow that they killed.
To learn more about Thomas Wade Jackson and A Prayer for Compassion, please visit aprayerforcompassion.com. A Prayer for Compassion is available to rent or purchase on Vimeo.com, as well as to rent on Amazon.com.
Vegan, because we have to be humane beings.
Thank you for joining us today for part 1 of the series featuring the extraordinary movie A Prayer for Compassion. Please join us again Friday, November 5th for part 2, where Thomas travels to meet religious leaders from many spiritual traditions to discuss compassion for all beings and our planet. Coming up next is Governments Should Be Pro-Life and Promote Veganism, part 3 of 8, on Between Master and Disciples, right after Noteworthy News. May humanity turn vegan to extend our love and care to all animal friends.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/show.